Strixhaven previews are about to begin, and it is time to go over the information that we already have so we can answer the question, what do we know?
That's right. I hope that you have done your studying because class is in session, and if you are late, you will get a demerit, and enough demerits is a citation, and eventually a disagulation. The video starts right now.
Special thanks to our Patreon supporters who power our channel. Check out our Patreon for monthly giveaways, exclusive content, and even a starring role in our fan fight series. Link in the description below.
Hello and welcome to the day.
Thank you for spending your time with us.
I'm Jake.
I'm Joel. Welcome back to another episode of Jake and Joel Are Magic. We are going to talk about Strixhaven, what we know so far, as we are about to head into previews. But before we get into this info, if you would, go down there, click that like button, click that dislike button if you don't like the video by the end of it.
It's a great way to support the channel, and if you are a fan, go ahead and click subscribe. Head on over to Patreon. It might be a good fit for you. We've got a bunch of information to talk about today, so let's go ahead on and head to class.
So far, we know that Strixhaven is a university, is a college plane with 5 colleges, each representing the enemy color combinations. We've got Silverquill for black and white, Witherbloom for green and black, Prismari for red and blue, Lorehold for red and white, and Quandrix for blue and green. We've got a pretty cool setup there so far. I like how they've shown us what each piece of lore is roughly about, each college is roughly about.
We've seen some modal cards, Joel. Why don't we go ahead and look at those? And speaking of college, Joel got to college after me and graduated before me. A little thing about this channel.
So there you go, little thing about this channel. Silverquill Command, I told you this is our Orzhov black and white guild. You can choose 2. We got a creature gets +3/+3 in flying, return a creature card with mana value 2 or less, that's new. Target player draws a card, loses a life, target opponent sacks a creature. So we've got sacrifice, a little bit of sign in blood, a little bit of recursion, a little bit of gain 3/3 in flying. And Jake, the main thing that stands out to me here is mana value. Converted mana cost is no longer a phrase that will be used on MTG cards.
Yeah, Silverquill Command. Let's talk about it. It's sorcery speed.
So that's roughly what Silverquill's about, though. And, you know, this command is solid. But let's take a look at the Witherbloom command.
Yeah, 1 green, 1 black for another sorcery, and choose 2. Target player mills 3. Then you return a land card from your graveyard to your hand, or destroy target non-creature, non-land permanent with mana value 2 or less. Target creature gets -3/-1 until end of turn, or target opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. So I think the mode that I like the most is destroy target non-creature, non-land permanent. That's going to hit a lot of annoying artifacts and enchantments that are nice and cheap. Think of like Authority of the Consuls, that kind of stuff.
The destruction thing at sorcery speed is fine. Again, wish it was instant. And the -3/-1, Jake, is to me almost irrelevant on this card because at sorcery speed, you can't really use this as a combat trick. But I also think that if this card was instant speed, the amount of use you could get as a combat trick out of it would make it a pretty busted card. That's the kind of thing that, you know, really could blow somebody out. Destroying an artifact, destroying some 2 or less equipment, while also giving them -3/-1. That's the kind of combat trick I would want out of it. But at sorcery speed, it's just okay.
I think it's a sideboard card. I really do. I think that there's certain uses, like if you have utility land like a Field of Ruin you want to get back out of the graveyard, that's kind of cool from that top effect. Let's talk about Lorehold Command, Joel.
5 mana, choose 2. You can either create a 3/2 spirit that is earthly bound, cannot fly. For 5 mana, as part of your modes, creatures you control get +1/+0 and gain indestructible and haste until end of turn. You can also have a little helix, lightning helix here, have it deal 3 to any target and you gain 3. Or you can sack a permanent and turn it into 2 cards. This is my favorite one so far, for sure. Maybe my favorite one of the whole bunch.
It's very powerful.
Right. 5 mana, very powerful. Instant speed, survive board wipes, lightning helix down. You know, I'm thinking from the EDH perspective, survive a board wipe, lightning helix down a planeswalker.
I think it's a very strong card. It's really difficult, though, because, you know, I think maybe it has some use in EDH, but it is a little bit slow for standard, and obviously modern, pioneer, that kind of stuff. But maybe in standard, you know, it could find its way into some sort of Jeskai control, in which case I think that it's very strong, because now you find a token that you can potentially win the game with. You give your creatures indestructible. I mean, it's hard to put creatures into a control deck. We'll see how the card shakes out, but I do think that there's some very good power here, and I do think that thankfully it's instant and the converted mana cost is fair.
Your creatures can gain indestructible at instant speed. They've really been giving us a lot of options for that, and I like that they've got that again on there. Prismari Command is a 3-cost instant here with 2 damage to any target, draw 2, discard 2, create a treasure token, or destroy target artifact.
Yeah, and this card should remind you a lot of Kolaghan's Command. So Kolaghan's Command deals 2 damage to target creature or player. So a little bit more versatility here from that mode. But Kolaghan's Command also has destroy target artifacts. So Prismari Command and Kolaghan's Command, the same converted mana cost, both instant speed, both have 2 effects that are pretty similar. And remember, Kolaghan's Command came out of Dragons of Tarkir. That's by far and away the command that has had the most use as far as like modern, pioneer, that kind of stuff. I think this card is absolute gas, and it's my favorite one. I love the converted mana cost on it. I think CEDH could want this card just because there's a lot of versatility. And I also think that constructed formats are going to want it because that converted mana cost is very good given the power on the card.
Yeah, mana ramp in colors that don't really have that. Artifact destruction, any artifact. Also the ability to loot, really good. Really good card. I like Prismari Command. We've got a 3-cost instant here. Lastly, with Quandrix Command. Return a creature or planeswalker, counter an artifact or enchantment, put 2 counters on your creature, or shuffle 3 cards from a graveyard into a library.
Yeah, the counter on the artifact or enchantment's really good too. That's just an effect that you like to have on a card. But yeah, nice combat trick with the counters. And also a nice combat trick with return target creature or planeswalker to its owner's hand. There's planeswalker's about to go off, EOT, return it.
I really like this in relation to Embercleave. Nice little response there, counter target artifact, and then even put 2+1/+1 counters on the creature that was blocking whatever was going to be Embercleaved, with the opponent thinking they were going to easily go over the top of that creature, but it grows, the artifact is canceled, and their creature dies. Quandrix Command is pretty cool, and those 5 cards really represent these 5 colleges and probably what we're going to see mechanically out of them. So that's something I'm looking forward to a lot, really digging into these 5 colleges on Strixhaven.
These commands started in Khans of Tarkir. We got the allied ones, now we've got the enemy ones, and I'm impressed. I think that we've got some good heat here.
The other cool thing that we know about this set, Jake, is the Mystical Archive.
Yes, let's talk about this because this is why everybody's here, right?
Absolutely. Mystical Archive is sort of the library on Strixhaven. We've got 63 famous instants and sorceries of all rarities that are going to be very widely spread throughout this set. These aren't necessarily going to be rare cards.
No.
Each collector booster is going to have 3 of them in it. Each set booster is going to have 1. Each draft booster is going to have 1. There are Japanese alternates that we're going to see here in just a minute. Those Japanese alternates can be found in the Japanese set and draft boosters, and English collectors boosters will have at least 1 of our Japanese alternates. That's sort of setting
these
the
are going to be in
groundwork,
there is going to be a Mystical Archive card, is my understanding, in every single draft pack. So the limited experience is going to be it's going to be wild. It's going to be a limited experience. I really hope that we're able to play this in stores. I hope that we are able to draft this set because it's going to be an incredible limited experience. So what you're looking at here are the Japanese alternate arts. So what you need to be thinking now is like when War of the Spark came out and we saw all of these alternate art planeswalkers that only appear in the Japanese boxes. They appeared in the Japanese pre-release kits as well. That's where you can find the Amano Liliana foil, which is seriously worth $3,000+ right now. You cannot find that in the English product. Now, I'm not telling you that these cards are going to have that high of a price tag. The fact that they are appearing in English collector boosters is honestly a nice shift, because for people that do value being able to read their cards, but also want a chance at pulling in, you did say, Joel, at least 1 will appear. So that means that there could be 1, there could be 2. I don't know. Will there be 3? Time will tell when we start to see the openings. But yeah, these cards are going to be highly sought after. So do expect people, as far as the draft boosters, in my opinion, in the long run, to value the Japanese product more than the English product. But again, time will tell with this. But if it is anything like War of the Spark, there will be a premium for the Japanese product just because there is that exclusive chance at finding this rare treasure card. And we haven't even seen what the bulk of them are. Will there be Imperial Seal? Make sure that you're subscribed because we are going to be covering Strixhaven a lot, and we're going to be speculating on what cards need big reprints. Again, these are only instants and sorceries. I've talked a lot. I'm going to kick it back to Joel. What do you think about these?
I really like the lore of these. I like the thought behind this. There's a big library on a college plane, on a university plane, and all of the old spells that our teachers have used and their teachers before them, and all of the ancient knowledge is there for the taking. You can go in there and use it. Kind of reminds me of Doctor Strange a little bit when he's going into the library, checking out all the different books. You've got some that are fully available, some that are like, oh, we don't go near that book, it's dark knowledge.
I love that. Like Demonic Tutor, I would imagine being like dark knowledge. Like you do not go after the
I really like
tutor,
from a lore standpoint, from a feel standpoint, I really like this in the set. Plus, I need to see it more in action, but I really think that this might be a nice way for them to have reprints in normal standard sets. These now are not standard legal cards, but in the limited sense, they will be available to play if you pull them, just like any limited environment. It's a way for them to reprint cards like Demonic Tutor that are widely played in Commander, but still very expensive. And so if this is a test for how well this works, I'm very much looking forward to it. And I want to see what these other, 50 some odd that we haven't seen yet. I'm very excited to know what those are. Let us know down in the comments if you have a guess. We are going to put out a little predictions video here in the next couple of days that'll go through what we think is going to be in the Mystical Archive. Jake, that's what we know so far about Strixhaven. We've got some very cool stuff. Very excited about this set. I think that so far this set has got more hype around it than Kaldheim did or TSR. So I know that a lot of people are going to be very excited about getting their hands on this set. Plus, maybe it'll be about the time where the world is starting to opening back up, and that could be fun too.
Yeah, that's right. We're discussing the Mystical Archive. We'll continue doing it. Let us know if there's something that we missed about the Mystical Archive or what you know about Strixhaven that maybe we don't. And until next time, we will see you on the Flippity.